Welcome to AITV Starship.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCauley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wild with the stories that amaze. Deep dives come and lighten up your days. Cool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation. AITV Starship. Learn. Laugh innovation. AITV Star. Human amplified. Catch the spark. Ride the wave. Futures on our side. We got experts talking truth in the stream. Dreaming bigger, living stronger. Building a dream. From therapy bots to AGI talk. We ask the hard questions while we walk the walk.
Oh, Rick.
Whipping it out, baby.
I got to tell you, today's episode is brought to you by the letter L for lobster.
Lobster City, baby. It's the lobster bots are going wild. It is the Wild
Sometimes
West.
too wild.
That's it. It's lobster set wild. What is that thing? Lobster's gone wild tonight.
Lobster gone wild.
We got lobsters gone wild. I think that it was a Nana Banana, and it's Nana Banana again, too, on top of that. We'll get to all that. Tonight's is so full of changes. I think that we're going to look back at this last week is the most fundamental change and shift of all time. I'm going to give you right up front, I'm going to give you the big two stories, and then we're going to unveil how these things came about. Number one, I think that we will think about this forever more, is there's been a shift. We had the VO moment a long time ago, a couple of years ago, where all of a sudden it was making videos from text. So it had a world understanding because large language models trained on images. Then they trained on video, and then they trained on audio. And we keep adding these things. So as soon as Nana Banana came out, you've got a world model that has all knowledge of all things that's ever on the internet, but it has the ability to turn that into an image. So we had a cross-section of a human heart that could be annotated with exacting specifications. And then the Claude bot moment, also known as, I want to call it the lobster bot moment, because that's a thing. We are now able to hand off to, and the original was OpenClaw, that started the thing. You just hand off a task, and 6 months, 10 months later, actually right now I think we're at the, is it 14-day mark where it can autonomously continue an operation for 14 days without problems? This is according to a couple of them, right? So we're getting to that point. And then now, not only do we have OpenClaw, we've got 3 other models that are doing the same thing. And they're coming from trusted partners like Anthropic, like Gemini, like what we're going to talk about tonight, which is the first iteration that you should use. Up to this point, don't touch the lobster bot. Just don't go there unless you really know what the hell you're doing.
They got claws.
But we're going to suggest to you tonight, and I'm going to demonstrate tonight. This is our mission
claws?
tools.
Yeah, claws.
Claws. Yeah, they're
I was going to say pinchers or snappers, but they're claws.
They're claws. They are claws. Yeah. So you have stone crab claws. That's my favorite kind of claw to eat. And it's the Wild West. So now it's everybody has this agency. So the problem with LobsterBot is it's dangerous as heck. You get ripped off. Everything goes crazy. So please don't use it unless you really know what you're doing. Brandon, are you a little bit even afraid to use it yourself? Do you want to set up a Mac Mini and go to town with that, or 3 Mac Minis? I think the stack is now 4 Mac Minis. And
yeah, I'm waiting until I can buy it from Best Buy on Black Friday and just plug it in. So Kyle and I were talking last night after AI Learning Lab, and he was saying, man, you could make a market by putting this Claude idea and like transferring that knowledge into a robot, a humanoid robot. I'm like, Kyle, by the time those human robots hit our doorstep, they're going to have a Mac Mini inside their head, and you're just going to power it on.
Well,
You're going to
Well,
create your soul MD by talking to it.
It's already there. We're already there. So let's go to the next phase. So the first phase is it can go out and do stuff for literally 14 days at length. So it can operate anything. It's got the intelligence to do this, creating imaging and video. Video, we're going to talk about new models that came. C-Dance is now available. It's got a lot of drama going on with it too. But then here's the next. So right now, we're going to suggest to you, when you open up Chrome, look in the right-hand corner, update it, make sure it says Gemini. Sign in with your Gemini account, and we're going to show you how to do this. It's the moonshots tonight. I'm going to show you how I use Gemini as a browser and Gemini as the website I visit to get the Gemini as a browser to agentically create for me 1,000 pictures in a row in under 10 hours. And I can prompt it to whatever I'm going to do. So we're going to do this. I'm writing songs with it. I spent my editorial illustration photography class that I teach.
Wait, did you set up? Did I hear you? Did you set up a Cloudbot?
Well, it's the same as, because you're having the browser, which is Gemini.
Oh, you're talking about Gemini. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about Gemini.
But I could set up in my main website or multiple tabs. So it goes from creating the prompts to executing the prompts and still images to go over to Grok and videotape them and then come back and do all this other stuff. So you have an agentic browser today, and it's safe and you can use it, and it's free. So go do it. That's our big thing today. And then one more layer on
mission.
What's that?
As in, that's going to be tonight's mission tools. Is we're going to deep dive into Gemini in Chrome.
Google ecosystem, which includes Notebook LM, my favorite, got some upgrades too, got some new tools that you can use. You can
You're stealing all my thunder, Rick.
Whoa, okay. But okay, I'll do the last piece and then I'll open it up, Floor. You're going to show us. So Brandon's going to get in the details. I swear I'm in the weeds right now, but let me do this one more thing. And that is, okay, so you got all these agents doing stuff, right? How do we communicate? We're forcing Gemini to look through the lens of what is called human first browsing. Now, what happened with Cloudflare, this is the company that behind the scenes keeps the internet secure. They took 20% of their whole infrastructure and they created a entirely computer language internet. They're duplicating right now. The entire internet is being turned not into what you see here with text on a screen in English. No, the entire thing is being, and the transactional backbone of the internet is already 20% done for agents to go streaming across there with cryptocurrency, with transactions happening. So build me a $100 million building, have all the meetings, do all the stuff. See ya. Go do your deal. Okay, so here we go. Let's do the news. I'm sorry to steal your thunder, but I think it's the two things. It's agents plus the internet is made for agents, which means 10,000 times faster, whatever they can do, which is replace every one of your jobs, is going to happen. And then self-recursive improvement. So then you can download these little skill sets. So I can hold a meeting. I can do this. I can do your accounting. I can do your taxes this year. I know I'm going to do my taxes with one of these agents this year. I mean, forget even TurboTax. That's too much work. I want it to go into my bank account, download all my stuff, and then put it in my business account and everything else. And just our entire show will be within, I'm going to say, I'm going to go for 4 months. 4 months. We'll be read the news with images it generated, images it found. In fact, that's what I'm going to demonstrate tonight. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that because I know I can already do it. All right, here we go. Take it away, Brandon.
Are you done?
I'm done.
So no, it's great. I mean, you are a dangerous man. I love. You know,
I'm going to explain that too tonight. Tonight, I'm Rick the AI guy. By the way.
Yeah. Tonight is it's an 8-hour show. Strap in. We got a lot to talk about. We're going till 4 o'clock in the morning. And you're getting compliments from the ladies. Careful,
thanks, Jeannie.
Careful, Rick.
Yeah, in fact,
I know. Careful, Jeannie. Rick's got a girlfriend now.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. So
the robot's going to be delivered tomorrow, right?
And she's going to be wearing an I Dream of Jeannie outfit and look like Barbara Eden back in the day. I just got to say that. Okay, so I'll shut up right now because we need to get on with it.
Here's where, here's how we got to this. Just to give you a little context, because normally, if you're fans of the show, Rick usually has about 1,500 slides, and I usually let him speak to about 8 of them during the news before we get pulled off into a tangent.
Oh, I still have those too.
I looked back at what we were doing over the past 10 days, and I realized there was a lot of news, and I started counting, and I got to 25, and I'm like, okay, producer Brandon's going to hijack the news. And what I did was I had Gemini look at all of the news stories that I had been surfacing over the past week, and it formatted them and organized them into categories, and then it made a presentation. It made a slide deck for them. And I tweaked it, I honed it, I added some stories. While I was doing that, and this is over the course of the past few hours I've been working on this, getting this ready for tonight's show. While I was doing that, I kid you not, 5 more stories broke. That is the speed that we are working in. So now it's not 25 stories, it's 30 stories.
Okay. And when the news breaks, we fix it. Okay.
And seriously, the speed at which these things are moving is crazy. But first, before you do that,
supersonic tsunami. Yep.
Naomi is going to say goodnight.
Aww.
At midnight. I told you we're going for 8 hours tonight.
No, you didn't.
You're right. How was your night? Congratulations. Naomi got a ribbon.
That's what we do it for right there.
All right. So they got 30 stories that they're waiting on. So, all right. It's
the stories.
Yes. So 10. Yeah.
Do you want me to do the news first, Brandon? I'll give you a few minutes.
AI is probably going to do her homework for her by the time she's done with high school. But I've got this
Teacher
going
here.
down. I've got this broken down, but we're gonna get to the fun stuff. But we got to start a little dark because this is getting serious. Anthropic versus the U.S. government.
Oh God!
This got updated while I was building the slide deck. So if you're not familiar, Anthropic is currently the only LLM, the only company that is contracted enough, that is deemed safe enough and advanced enough to be used inside of the Pentagon. And Pete Hegseth has said, we like using Anthropic and we only want to use Anthropic.
There's people at OpenAI using Anthropic to write the code for OpenAI, just to give you an idea how good Anthropic is. And they're born of responsibility, by the way, except for their screw up in the beginning, but okay.
Yes. But what the U.S. government has suggested, and this is from verified reports, this is not speculation, that they want 2 things from Anthropic. You do 2 things for us, and we're going to be happy. And Anthropic said, sure, you're the U.S. government. We're great partners. What can we do? They said, okay, first we want to spy on the U.S. citizens. And Anthropic said,
This is true.
Excuse me? And then they said, okay, well, what's the second thing? They said, that fail safe that you have in there that says if the drone is getting ready to take out a lethal hit on somebody and you're insisting that it checks in with a human first, we want that feature gone.
Yes.
We just want it to have full autonomy to take lethal action. No, Google, I'm not talking to you. We're talking about Anthropic.
And just a little bit preview before this happened, they've already created, using, guess what, Palantir, the Immigration OS. It scrapes all non-citizens, supposedly, to find out where they are. So they find out that someone posted a picture at a bar. That's where ICE goes to pick them up. That's already something they've coded, hard-coded. That's how ICE is getting to the places that they're going to. Okay,
So
keep going.
Anthropic said, we don't really feel comfortable with that.
Yes,
Because, we're U.S. citizens.
Or killing people in the water where you already blew up their boat. Yes. Okay.
Yes. And so the Pentagon pushed back and said, well, you're going to do this for us, or we're going to designate you a supply chain risk, which, that's a little bit coded. But what that means is basically anybody that does business with the U.S. government isn't allowed to use Anthropic. And
that means schools buying their lunch money and Broward College students coming here to school. That's what that means. Can't use Anthropic.
Yeah.
They're on the enemy list.
About an hour ago, the story broke from multiple sources that Anthropic has said no to the U.S. government. They are not going to pull back on their safety measures, which they had until tomorrow to make that decision. But they've come out, they've publicly stated, we are not going to compromise on autonomous killing and U.S. surveillance.
Wow.
And so
to really give you two other grounds on this, because I have been spending a lot of time thinking about it. Dario Amodei is the one that wrote this beautiful story called The Machine to Love and Grace, based on Baumgartner's 1980 poem of the idea that there would be a time where we would cohabitate and use AI in the Garden of Eden to empower us. This has been my personal quest, is that we use it for only good. And here, this ethical company, the only one who has a constitution of it, what it will and will not do, and is the one also that tests it just incredibly. So you remember a little while back that it was the AI was blackmailing this guy? That was in a safe box to see what would happen if you stress tested it. It failed, and then what do? They go back and they fix it. So red teaming any large language model, Anthropic is the one on the planet that's doing it. Dario Amodei they were, yeah, until now. And now the genie's out of the box. Sorry, Genie, but the genie is out of the box. I mean, Medusa's got her ugly snake head coming on. And
that's basically what they've
Pete
said.
Hegseth, it's Pete
this is
with the snakes. I'm doing that image tonight.
Allegedly, purportedly, independent of
Dangerous Man will tell you it's true.
Push, but they have relaxed and dropped their hard stop policy on model releases. Previously, they had said, if it's not safe, we're not going to release it. And what they realized around the same time that the Pentagon started pressuring them is that OpenAI, Gemini, Meta, and Manus, none of the other models were ascribing to that model. And they're like, we need to
go fast and break stuff. That's it.
We either need to align with the rest of the market or exit the market. And they're choosing to align with the market. And it wasn't enough for the Pentagon because they still wanted those last two. So while all this is happening, Anthropic CEO is warning of an imminent AI tsunami regarding the development and it impacts on job loss in the economy. And so and if the CEO of the people that build the tool that makes the waves say the tools that makes the wave is making the wave and we can't stop it, you should probably pay attention.
And the word tsunami is also exactly the same thing the words out of our famous person from X, Elon Musk, said.
Elon Musk.
We have an economic, he called it not just a tsunami, what did he call it? Like whatever the supersonic tsunami. That's what he said.
Yeah, supersonic tsunami.
When he was supersonic tsunami is the word, and I want to see that over. But what he was saying when he was asked by Joe Rogan, he said, what's going to happen to jobs? He said, instead of answering, oh, well, AI work alongside us, jobs will be fine. No, he said, jobs? What jobs? Who has jobs? He's saying that there's a wipeout. So get ready for a flood. So Noah's Ark, we got a song for that, but this is not how I intended to use it for the first time I played it.
And amongst all that, they also acquired a company called Vercept AI for enterprise, but nobody cares about that. But
go back just a second, because I am concerned about. So they are this enterprise safe company, by the way, and Vercept, I guess, was an enterprise company that makes them better at what they do. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So they're just helping align with enterprise.
Look at you with dark blue backgrounds and gold foil lettering. And that, man, you're doing some design. So AI must be getting really good. I'm going to give credit to the AI because
I've spent 26 episodes with you. I think it's learning by osmosis.
You got my design aesthetic just right. This looks good. Okay, keep going.
So agents and personal assistants, we've had some updates here. OpenAI, Peter Steinberg, we talked about that last week, joined to lead personal agent development. That's the guy from OpenClaw who got acqui-hired by OpenAI. And then OpenAI also, and Google and Microsoft are also co-authoring a standard for agents on websites. You teased this last week, Rick.
Yeah.
Where that now the big internet players are all coalescing around making it easier for AI agents to read websites.
Gotcha. That's it.
And
so this is bigger than you really imagine, because if you say, like I'm going to demonstrate tonight, if you say, Gemini, read this website, put in this prompt and do it, it's kind of slow. I would say, I mean, it types a little bit much faster than I do. So it copies and pastes from its own thing. But finding its way around, it actually learns how the internet works from a human perspective. So imagine that you're translating between English and Swahili. Imagine that all of a sudden the person speaking Swahili is spoken to in Swahili. That speeds things up. But imagine that person who speaks Swahili is now 1,000 times, 10,000 times faster than you are at everything. And then now it's speaking to other agents speaking the same speed. And so financial transactions, balancing accounts across the planetary spectrum is now happening. So the entire internet is being duplicated so that readers of AI type can talk to each other at tsunami speeds. This is what's fueling the flood. That's the soundbite.
Along the way, we are seeing more experimenting with autonomous agents. So the New York Times got access to Maltbook and started interviewing agents in the Maltbook ecosystem. So there was a whole expose about that.
Wait a minute. So they got their own they got their own, I'm going to call it Lobster bot, to go in and report from. So they created a reporter to go into Maltbook. Holy crap. That's cool.
Yeah, and Jeannie, I noticed that you're asking about what happened with ChatGPT today.
It's exploded.
Yeah, it's exploded. They're tweaking the models on the back end, and they're doing a bunch of stuff. They're releasing updates to Codex, and it's just the whole system's getting drained and hosed right now.
Stop using it today. Go over to Gemini right now. Pay your $20. I swear to you, you'll be happy for the rest of 1,000 years, which is how long we're all going to live if we all use Google.
Exactly.
And then use Claude for your pretty writing. When you got a poem to write or some music, go over to Claude. That's for sure. Pay the $20.
And if you're not on the Lobsterbot train, but you want to stick one toe in the water and you don't want to go down the Lobsterbot rail, Hermes, NOAA's research has announced a new open source project with agentic capabilities. So now we're seeing all of these clones, right? We're seeing Zero Claw and No Claw and Anti Claw because everybody's trying to capitalize on the Claw book. And
Open Claw 2.5, which patched half of the security problem. So they're fixing themselves. I mean, that's the job of it. Teach itself new ways to get better. So it's not sitting still, but everybody else is like, let's do this. Jump in.
Rick, if you had told me 3 years ago that Apple's entrance to the AI race would be through sales of Mac Minis because some open source developer released something, that would not have been where my money was.
So the other part about it is it's a Mac Mini. It costs $500. So they're buying 4 of them with parallel processing. They're maxing them out. So for about $600 a piece, so that's $2,400. The cost of my laptop, you've got this stack that you can put a large language model onto, and these new ones, including Quinn's new one, that's the one the Zero, is open source. So it doesn't have to, and you can put your own Quinn 2.5 on there. So you load up your own large language model that's competitive with all the ones out there. So you're paying no API fees, no tokens, no nothing. And it can generate movies round the clock. And that's all it does. And it cranks out faster than you could do stuff with Nana Banana and VO and all the other stuff. So set it loose on your folders. I mean, it's getting crazy. This is really it was a trick. It was a, on Walden Pond, it's a little wave. This thing now is just like city destroying tsunami. I'm sorry.
We are starting to hit the exponential curve, the exponential part of the exponential curve. And the thing is, we've never lived through an exponential transition before. Nobody has. It's not from technology standpoint, from a innovation standpoint, nobody's been here. This is uncharted territory. Even on the enterprise,
and we're excited about it. We're like, hang 10, baby, let's get on that surfboard and go. Cutting edge.
Exactly. And on the enterprise side, you have a company called Robot, ROW, Robot AI Coworker.
Okay.
They're trying to design a local first AI that builds a knowledge graph from your Google workspace locally and then deploys an agent against it locally. And then Microsoft goes, oh, hang on, we'd like to play too. They just released 6 hours ago on a wait list for Microsoft Copilot tasks for the 4 people in the world that use Microsoft Copilot.
Yeah, please don't.
It's going to be a great thing.
It's embarrassing. They had, PowerPoint, the most powerful thing. Every time, like once a week, I'll go back in there, just make me one slide that works. And then now Google not only will generate it, put a soundtrack on it, put music on it, and then make an MP4 out of it just by having Google Drive alone. For your $20, I'll show you how to do that tonight. It's nuts. And, okay, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm just blowing up in here. Okay, go ahead.
So now we're going to get through the rapid fire because they're 30 stories and we still have so much show to do.
Right.
These are the more technical, like these were big news stories, but they're not really sexy stories. Mercury 2 has invented, and by inception, they've released their first reasoning diffusion LLM. So their take is going to be like, we have stable diffusion and some of the image models work on a diffusion technology where they start with the latent space and kind of back into a picture by removing things. Inception has said, what if we do that with data? And what if we do that with words and large language? So instead of trying to do GPT and generative predictive pre-trained technology, they're saying, what if we do a diffusion model?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And they say it's like 50% more efficient, more cheaper, better results, better, faster, stronger, the whole 9 yards. So,
wow.
And then Gemini, you said Google's leading. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Google has reported that bad actors have used over 100,000 prompts attempting to clone Gemini. So you get these bot farms in China that are literally logging into Gemini and asking it questions and studying it and trying to
deconstruct.
This is somebody on TikTok called this the first AI world war. Because really this is akin to Pepsi coming in and trying to break into Coke's headquarters and steal their trade secrets. It is a bad injection attack.
In fact, OpenAI admitted that the Chinese got into the US government and did exactly that. So, in fact, one of the chapters of my Grok book is based on that actual New York Times story, where there was someone inside of OpenAI who absconded with the hard drive that had all of their everything on it. Now, this is a while back, and I'm certain that it's a constant espionage thing, right? Because you send over a handbag to China, and it's cloned because the uncle next door has all the templates to make it. In fact, I went to, this is 10 years ago, I went to this thing where this guy makes new devices. So he's a product designer. So he does knives and cutting boards. So he made this cutting board and got it patented and everything in the United States, ships it over there for production. The uncle of the guy that was running the place that was making them to put it on QVC or wherever the hell it was going would instantly go next door and start production of the same thing and then sell it on Temu. So, I mean, that kind of espionage has happened forever. But now it's a large language model. So it's like, let's deconstruct it. And that DeepSeek moment we had about a year and a half ago, that was because they basically stole the model. They figured out how to make it a multi-model. So they just added a little bit of a thing. A mixture of experts is technically what they did. They got 10 different brains to talk to each other, and you got reasoning. Reasoning led to this, led to this. So innovation is constantly happening. Many of the innovations, like one of the things that you have now in Notebook LM, is you could take the images out of your slide deck and you could prompt each one to change the element of that image. I mean, it's nuts. And then it just generates a brand new slide deck. Okay, I'm sorry.
Keep. Meanwhile, Lovable's out. No, it's okay. Lovable's out there. Meanwhile, tweeting out their entire system prompt. It was obscured, but they posted this big picture of a whiteboard with like all this writing on it and all these sticky notes all over it, and they're like, our system prompt. And you could zoom in, you couldn't read anything, but one of their employees, it was from their CEO, and one of their employees like quote tweeted and go, "Dude, what?
What are you doing?" So what if you had Gemini watch it and try to read it?
Yeah, exactly.
He can watch the mouths move when they're saying stuff, and lip sync it.
Well, NVIDIA is also trying to get into audio. They've open sourced a full duplex voice model, so that they're trying to keep with like the 11 labs and stuff now. I'm like, you make graphics cards, stay in the graphics side of the house. and now we get to some of the fun stuff.
Oh, so
NVIDIA, the graphics card company, the company that everybody buys stock in because they power all this stuff.
So they just yesterday I was reading another story. I don't know if you caught this one or not, but because of the other chip manufacturers, AMD, I think it is, came out with faster, better, cheaper. They then took the one they had on the assembly line and they raised the amount of watts that it uses, and they 100x'd it on top of. So in the pipeline, as they're manufactured, they decided, let's make it 100 times faster. So they just did. So the next chip's coming out already is 100 times faster, midway through production. So it's like, you just can't even, And then quantum's right on. And quantum's going to get solved. I swear to you, quantum. And then we're talking a million X, and then we're all in danger.
But until then, we can still have fun. Google Notebook LM. You touched on this earlier, Rick. You can now line item edit your images with prompt-based editing.
Yep.
I don't know if you have even more to say about that.
I do. Later.
Okay, later. You heard it. We got it on the recording on tape. He said later.
Yep.
Avatars and Hedra, you can now double to 10 minutes and add multi-speaker and speaker coherence, so you can tell it who's supposed to be talking and keep it consistent for up to 10 minutes.
So, Jeannie, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you became an ambassador for Hedra. Is that right, Jeannie? If you could answer, that'd be great. Here's why this is important. If you look at my YouTube videos, all the ones with me playing guitar, that is Hedra. And the only reason why I use Hedra is because it did great. It even put veins on my neck. It did everything. And all I did is upload a picture, my MP3, and you have this emotional thing. So if you look at Frankenstein singing goodnight to his son, Phoenix, and going off to become the machine of loving grace. And if you have kids, be very careful. You will be crying for years on that song. I swear to you, it's the most powerful song I've ever written in my life. That's all lip synced and everything from a still picture and an MP3, and Hedra is the one that did it. They're just very expensive. And the other ones can't do any more than 2 minutes most. Hedra is the best. Yes, so she is. And I want to get with her, and I want to become an ambassador too. Because Jeannie and I could sing a song together, put up a picture of the two of us there on screen, upload the song, and it will know which voice comes from which mouth. I mean, up to how many speakers? Is it, say, 4? And 10 minutes?
4, yeah.
That's a long, that's Anagata Davida song length, right? that's like 24 minutes, I think it is. But yeah, it's a long song,
Well, if you add them all together. In not so fun news, Producer AI had a heck of a week. This is Refusion. It used to be Refusion. It's now Producer AI. And Producer AI said, we're making some changes. They announced on the 15th, we're making some changes. You have until the 19th to get all your stuff out. because the new stuff is not compatible with the old stuff, and we're going to purge the library. We're pulling the plunger. We're going back to everything. We're a new foundational model, and true to that, on the 20th, everything was gone. Every song you've ever created. So it lesson learned. We saw this. We saw this with Udio. We saw this now with Refusion. Someday we'll probably see it with Suno. Your stuff is not safe in these clouds. And so they made a big deal, and they made the best model. They called it Deep Fuzz 3 because why not? Deep Fuzz 3 was the model that they dropped with like fanfare, ribbon cuttings, balloons dropping from the ceiling, confetti. This is our new thing.
Wow.
They had playlists and contests and all this stuff. Good job, right? Pat themselves on the back.
Do you have our good old buddy from a long time ago, Napster? Has a
coming
new
up next.
platform. No,
that's coming up.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's coming up next.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, but see, here's the thing. Before we even got to Napster, while Refusion or Producer AI was doing its victory lap, Google said, "Hey, you, come here," and they acquired them, and they killed the model. So now, if you go to Producer AI, you get stuck with Google's Lyria 3 model, which also came out, but is not good.
No.
So you lost your music, you lost your new model, you lost your company. It's been a bad week for Producer AI.
Producer Brandon, your namesake, I'm sorry about that, buddy.
And we'll talk about the Napster in a couple slides. Well, we're going to just talk about it now because the running joke was that Napster was stealing all of Producer AI's songs because that's what they do. But in January, so Napster for those of you who are of a certain age, you remember Napster as the go-to de facto source for downloading extra legal copies of songs that people heard on the radio. I mean, I still stand by the fact that peer-to-peer wasn't inherently illegal. It's what you did with the music after you acquired it. Because
which is playing.
I was with you in Miami, Florida, and I gave you a copy of the Beach Boys on cassette that I dubbed over from my cassette because you could buy blank tapes and you could play and record. That was Napster, just at a much larger scale.
and with zero quality loss, which was the real thing, right? So books are the same way. Think about your library. You literally can take a book that costs you $30. You can go to Barnes and Noble, scan the QR, and see if it's available in your local library. Download it immediately as an audio book and keep it for a month before you have to give it back. So libraries are buying 30, 50 copies, so they bypass this sort of, as you were saying, if I've got a copy, I can copy the book. But then if I give it to someone else, I have to destroy my copy. That's what really happened with the law back then. Yeah.
Steve Jobs came and, still to me, one of his greatest contributions, he made a lot of great contributions. One of his great, I think, unrecognized contributions to society was getting all of the music players and all the music companies to play together and sell their songs individually for 99 cents. That at the time in the 90s was so unheard of. I remember walking into Coconut Music in my jorts back in middle school.
Back when you wore jorts. I was wearing my leisure suit and my bell-bottom jeans, and I look good.
You had to buy the entire CD. You couldn't just buy one track. And when I was using Napster, my guilty justification of how I used Napster was I don't want to pay $12 for one song.
Right.
And then Steve Jobs got everybody together and said, "You're going to sell one song at a time. You're going to sell it for $1, and people are going to love it." And I don't know how he did it, but he got everybody to play by those rules.
Yeah,
that's when iTunes came out. And so that is to say that Napster effectively died when that happened because then they can say, well, we don't need, you can't do it for free.
It's legitimate. And now we got Suno and all the rest of the streaming services, so that's over.
Yes.
But one little weird story, and this is really strange, but I promise I'll land a plane in 10 seconds. The Beatles was Apple Records. When the iTunes store came out, there's a sound still in the Apple preferences. It's called Sosumi. So the Beatles sued Apple because of Apple. If they went into the music industry, so if you have a copyright, it's within a trademark, it's within the industry of music. So when Apple made sound come out of their machine, Apple Records, the Beatles, sued Apple because you're in my domain. So Apple had the Beatles had just released the one album. It's all their #1 hits. It was like a 3-disc set, which I still have. It's the best music ever, right? The Beatles are just, holy grail. It was not in the Apple store until they settled the lawsuit for Apple Records, paying them $25 billion, which was then owned by Michael Jackson. That's a weird thing. And then they released it, and it was the #1 selling album instantly. But it was like 6 months before they got to do it because they had to go to court. And finally, after a 20-year battle or whatever it was, they had to, because they had little sounds and stuff it made. So it was like infringing a little bit. So yeah, that's there's a blast from the past.
Some lawyers had a field day with that case,
and it's the smartest thing because they made the $25 billion back instantly with the one album as a one, like you could do Hey Jude only, right? Because not all the songs.
And so I think there's still a subset of Apple users that still have PTSD over waking up and finding YouTube on their new phone. Like, why did that happen? Why did it come pre-shipped with YouTube?
And you remember in the day they released YouTube released the song for a whole album for free at the time, and you were forced to get it. So if you had iTunes, you got YouTube's album whether you wanted it or not. I was like happy as hell because that's my favorite group of all time. I've seen them 7 times in concert. It's awesome. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and so long way to say that Napster is not only in the music generation business now, but they're in the video avatar business of all places.
Oh,
and because they were actually acquired, the brand was acquired by an AI startup that is leveraging Napster
underneath. So you can have the little ears and the headphones on. Yep. I like the logo.
Yeah.
I got to tell you.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a pirate, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. We've come full circle. We're back to pirating. We're pirating AI songs now.
There you go. We're having another Napster moment.
When it works, is having some new features. They've got the library now where you can manage and reuse uploaded files. So they're starting to get into like the document storage, document management, kind of a Google Drive-ish
thing. They had their projects before. Google.
This is a library, so you could upload knowledge and reference it across projects without having to upload it to each project.
Okay,
which is a nice feature, and it's a smart play because it will save them on repeated uploads. Because if you didn't have where it was,
that plays exactly into my first story. After you're done.
Yes, and then Claude. This made waves on Twitter, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's Claude Remote Control. So if you are using Claude Cowork or Claude CLI, you can pass it between your mobile phone and your desktop. And
Windows speak to the 10-year-old in us. CLI, tell us one more time what that means.
Well, Rick, if you watched the episode that we did 2 weeks ago on command line interface,
I did. I was starring in it. I understood it then, but I'm an old man. I'm 66, man. You got to say it one more time.
You're working in the terminal, so basically you're working. You're doing all that terminal stuff, and you know
why
now you have the ability to transfer.
Why that's so cool that you did explain it to me last week is because when I read the story that the really power of an AI agent is if it's in the terminal, it's speaking to the root of the computer in its own native language. That's what they're doing in the whole internet. So they're translating it all into lobster language. That's what it really is. It's lobster language for those people out there 5 years old. If you think lobster, it speaks lobster language now. Whoa. We're talking about speaking to dolphins too later. What's that?
Does it come with Cheddar Bay biscuits?
Oh, it has to.
Oh no, that's Red Lobster. Sorry. So there were some movers. You touched on this at the top of the show. Industry and economic impact. Mark Cuban's out there basically saying there's a job wave. He's using that same terminology about customizing AI for SMBs. He sees that as a huge white space right now. There was a huge federal. I thought of you when I said this story, Rick, with Reskill and Upskill USA.
Yes.
U.S. government allocating $145 million for AI semiconductor apprenticeships. So they're trying to beat China at their own game.
And I'm going to be real careful when I say this, but my friend that I worked with on Broward BCEX, which is entrepreneurship, they got a $1.2 million grant at Broward College to create entrepreneurship as a core modality of Broward College. I worked with him and served on the council to get that started. That's what gave me the idea that I could think so big as to upskill the entire United States. He was the Chancellor of Education, Henry Mack, for the state of Florida, a very, very Republican, Trump-friendly guy. He just took the job as Labor Secretary, Assistant Labor Secretary of the U.S. government. So he's in charge of that money you just talked about. So guess who's going to put on his Republican hat and go walking in the door? And I'm scared as hell. So if anybody wants to call me up and coach me how to talk like a Republican,
you just gotta put the one earbud in and dial up GPT. It was like, hey, how do I say this? Yeah.
There's a reason why it's country western songs that I sing, because my alter ego, and I'm going to get into this tonight, but this is the point when I want to say it. I got to be able to speak to anybody. So if I got to put on a persona, if I'm like Stephen Colbert, do you remember Stephen Colbert in the early days?
Yeah.
He was satirically a
Colbert
Republican.
Report. Yeah.
Colbert Report. That was it, right? So this is my alter ego. This is my Batman and Bruce Wayne. So we're going to talk about that in a minute too. Okay, so
I'm going to come back to Burger King because I'm going to come back to Burger King. Let's go over to AI Doomsday, the market round. This was a crazy, crazy story. You touched on this.
$2 billion.
Yeah.
$2 billion lost in a couple of days.
Because somebody asked the question, like, hey, if we remove all that friction, that's what we pay people to do. So if AI removes all the friction, what do the people do? And the market goes, I didn't think about it that way. Sell!
Yes. So $2 billion loss. Adobe lost 30%. I can't. All the job companies, all the ones that have
lost like 20%.
Salesforce, yeah, and there was one that lost 80. I forget what it was, but it was like one of the largest. So, software as service. That means if you buy Adobe license for software, the creation of that software, you can now vibe code your own Adobe Photoshop. Basically, is what we're saying here. Salesforce is in the business of basically entering these things and creating these little widgets that get your work done faster. Well, now, if these agents, and this is the big picture of the whole thing, not only can communicate at billions of times faster than you on the internet because they got their own internet with their own language, then you put it at that and you take software as a service, which is 80% of our economy today. Think about it. Think about if your company or what you do is task-based, that was gone a long time ago. That's all the self-driving cars. That's all the call centers. That's all the checkout at any supermarket, right? So I talked about this before. I literally walked out having scanned my own stuff on my phone, and I walked out of BJ's and I didn't even stop. I took my hand and I walked out of Amazon. So this is where we are. The friction's gone. And that you touched it exactly perfectly. It's the frictional cost of people in the loop that slows shit down, excuse me, but that's it. And then, so, you ask it, how do you fix friction? Eliminate all humans. And basically, because corporations are tied to their profit margin by the people who invest in it, what you need to do is invest in the right companies and then quit your job and sit back, because it's going to be the Accelerando event with Lobsters speaking. And that's where Lobster came from, actually.
Or you could just be Burger King, who announced this week that they're policing their front end staff in their headsets. They're going to have AI listening for social cues like please and thank you, and they're going to be scoring them and in their ear saying, hey, notice on that last call that you didn't say
You forgot to ask if they wanted fries with that burger.
Yes. Oh. And I mean, I don't know if you've been to a McDonald's lately, but you walk in
this morning and every morning.
There's a friggin' kiosk there. You can't even talk to a person. I don't really care if the Burger King employee says good morning to me. They're there to fulfill the order and be the human in the loop.
But there's a Burger King near me that's in a really janky neighborhood, and oh my god, it's so bad. Right, social scores are coming. So that was an episode that scared the hell out of me of Black Mirror, right, Jeannie? I'm sure.
And they're already doing it in China. They're already doing it in China.
Oh yeah,
and it's coming. Social scores are coming. I 100% agree, Jeannie.
It's not a self-domesticated ape; it's a self-domesticated slave. I mean, come on, in your head.
Again,
it's worse than 1984. George Orwell had no imagination. I'm just saying.
All right, so Rick, when we use Claude Code to invent the time machine and go back to the 70s, or not even go back to the 90s,
I'm gonna be downloading Napster music like crazy. I still have 10 terabytes of Napster music on DVDs.
Yep. I'm gonna tell 7-year-old Brandon in the early 90s that you need to invest in Apple, not the
right, and then buy NVIDIA as soon as they make games.
Yep. And that Burger King was going to be the canary in the coal mine on social scores, and then just vanish into thin air,
and move to Mars because you can.
Yep. I made this slide for you, Rick, my education slide. So Google language basically killed the Duolingo bird. No need to buy Duolingo subscription anymore because you've got little language lessons, which is basically an AI. A Google Translate, but small micro learning. Perplexity is trying to get into the hardware business. They've announced a new hardware software initiative called Perplexity Computer. So it's the next logical iteration of you're seeing like Meta's getting into hardware, Google's getting into hardware. Now Perplexity to get into hardware.
Well, Google famously has the tensor processors. That's why all my money's on them, because they don't have to worry about any chips over at Taiwan or wherever the hell they're made, right? Or even the U.S. catching up with the chip manufacturing thing. So they have their own tensor processors that work differently, but they've tuned it for that. So,
and Google has a fellowship for creatives now. They're looking for hiring emerging creatives.
Oh my God! So this is the conversation I had at Adobe. The guy from Google saw all the stuff that I was doing, and I was showing him all the stuff I was doing. He said, would you want to be an artist in residence for Google? Hello, yes. Call me. Anybody at Google watching the show? Call me. Anybody know anybody at Google? Call me, because I'm ready. I'm Nana Banana. I'll wear a Nana Banana suit, and I'll report for duty.
Yep, I got 2 more slides. We're not done yet, Rick. We're not done yet.
Okay.
But this is a lot of this is we're going to be talking about. So
I never thought I'd say
time
this,
on Nano Bananas too.
Land the plane, Brandon. Because I can't.
That's how we've been on the show for too long. Is we have become one. So in the AI salon, the 2 handlers for Kyle are me and Andy, and through a slip of the tongue of Kyle, we have become Brandy.
Have you told your wife this?
and so now I think we're going to be Brick. I think is going to be our new.
I'm a brick house.
Exactly.
Oh, I think I like this. So there's got to be a song. Somebody do a song for me.
Claire, get on it.
Claire,
so Napster, we talked about Google. I'd love to get your take on this as a photographer.
A brick house in outer space, because it's got to be a space theme, like a brick house in outer space. I'm like a brick house in outer space, built like a tank. Oh yeah, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I want your opinion on this as a photographer. Pameli photo shoot. This is the new. Claire's already off making a song. But what do you think? Being able to transform basic product photos into professional studio quality marketing assets by prompting it.
It's okay, but it's like their music thing, that little Aria thing, right? Was it Aria they called it?
Lyria.
Why did they steal Lyria? Oh, okay. Because they call it Aria. That's my girlfriend. They can't touch that word.
Yeah,
that's
Lyria.
Right. I would be in lawsuits right away. But yeah, so it is. So you can go into even Adobe Firefly and create this agentic string of actions. You can go to, as we have demonstrated already, Crea has these nodes, right? So basically what it's doing is it's saying you've got a product, you've got a scenario that you want the product. So you have a model holding it up to the camera. So you're creating this scenario of what expectations of what a model shoot looks like. And if you remember Nefertiti doing a commercial for eyeliner or something, right? I did that in 2 seconds. So that's a video that had all the linguistics, everything, because it's mimicking the world model of what does an advertising look like. So all this is doing is a mini version. So it's kind of like a 30-second blip. So it says it's at the quality that their Lyria model is to music. So it ain't no Suno. It ain't no nodal-based workflow, and it's definitely not any of those agentic ones that are the professionals are using. So nobody's using this professionally. But if you got a small product, you're selling a book, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, here's the unlock for me. It's all comes down to accessibility. So if you're an SMB and you don't have the budget or the bandwidth to bring on a professional photo shoot, this is going to take that iPhone photo that you took of your stock and upscale it into something that you can put on your website.
And then you put it into Etsy, and then you create a little agent flow so that every product you have, every T-shirt is on a model, and they're walking around showing off the T-shirt and saying, look at this wonderful T-shirt for AITV Starship. Or better yet, in fact, how I might use it is for the dangerous man to do my product photography. Because I have an armband,
I still have not looked at what they've done with Opal. I've heard good things from the internet community, but there's how do you even keep up with this? I mean, you and I don't sleep, and we're swimming against the current. Jellypod, my lovely AI podcast friends over there at Jellypod announced AI hosts with emotional range. So now you can give them prompts like whisper or laugh or be excited or scared. So that's really cool that they're continuing to evolve that product.
So tell us about the thing you're doing with your kids on there. Aren't you using Jellypod for the stories you're making with them?
Yeah, no, we're doing a science-based podcast.
Okay. The most beautiful story that I heard I think you were on some other show, whatever it was, but you were talking about taking a road trip and they asked to play their own songs.
Yes. Yeah, that's the Suno songs. Yeah. So when we travel now, so it's funny, somebody asked me the other day what my favorite song was, and I caught myself because I almost said the puppy song, because that's the one we listen to, but that's nobody knows what that is because it's on our Suno playlist.
It's like so this gets to
we don't listen to radio anymore.
This is a real cool, right? So the big thing Kyle's been talking about, so I'm going to shout out AI Salon because they're just freaking awesome, right? Kyle's the most amazing. And we're starting to partner with them. So we want to promote them in every episode as much as we can, because it's a place where you get in touch with 4,000 people, where I met Brandy, where I met everybody here, Jeannie and Dr. Claire, everybody, right? So I think the thing is we all have to be creatives. He uses the word producers of stuff, right? I like the word creatives because you're creating something. So your children are growing up agentically taking control and creating. Their curiosity about science is leading to the Jellypod podcast that you're doing with them. So you are the perfect AI parent without having any AI in it. You're doing the human thing that every great parent does, which is inspire your kids to believe in themselves.
And so the podcast is really cool. Yeah. Because what we're doing with it is I've trained the host to be a crossover between Bill Nye and Blippi. So if Bill Nye and Blippi had a baby, you'd get Max Velocity, which is our host for Curious Sparks. We're halfway through season 2 of this podcast. And
do you know what they call a bunch of kids? A giggle of kids.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yes. Well, I call them that because that's just beautiful, isn't it? Can it giggle? Can it go that far? Can it actually giggle?
It can. It can laugh. It can laugh.
Oh my
It can say
God!
laugh.
I got to
A
hear
soft
that. I
laugh.
got we got to do a
And
kid
so-
show. We do a kid show because I gotta do my book, and we got to have your kids on there. Put them in
And
headsets.
so
We'll do
what
it early in the day, pre-recorded or something if you want.
Yep. So what we do with that is when my son gets in the car after school, I say, "Hey, what did you learn about in science class today?" And they say, "Oh, we learned about planets." And so, okay, great, thanks. And then the next day,
Wow.
when we're on our way to school, we have a podcast that's talking about planets, and it's reinforcing what he's learning at school.
Did you do Google Notebook with it?
No, it's exclusively a JellyPod product right now. But JellyPod has ingested.
No, I'm saying
so they can do
to create the content for your shows.
This is exclusively JellyPod. JellyPod. I give JellyPod the topic, and it writes the. We got to do JellyPod as a mission tool. How have we done? Rick, how have we gone 26 episodes? We haven't done JellyPod as a mission tool.
I know.
Right, well,
and education. So I went over to Alpha School, and they just were on the WTF Moonshot guys, the whole Alpha School. And so I'm ready to do an education thing I want to start with K through 12, go all the way up to college, PhDs. It's the future of education. Notebook LM is
I'm making myself a note right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if Pearson wants to come on and be interviewed because.
Who's that? Oh, your wife?
The CEO of Pearson, the CEO of JellyPod.
Oh, Pearson. Oh, yeah. Yes.
I've been there since day 0 with JellyPod. I was on the beta, and so I've been with them a long time.
Are you actually selling this or making money from this too, or what's the?
No, well, not with Curious Sparks, but what we did do is, if you attended AI Festivus, we took all of the content from AI Festivus and we made a podcast series that's available in the replay bundle for $27. That was all JellyPod.
Oh, can you still buy that? Because it's worth it, I tell you.
Yes, yeah.
Man, I watched back through every episode. Yep, and you can see me just nail Notebook LM, although it's changed so much now that we got to do more episodes.
Exactly. Okay. And so the cool thing is about it is not only are we reinforcing what he's learning, but I'm learning new things too. For example, our most recent episode was on glue and things that are sticky and why some things are stickier than others. And you talk about viscosity, like why is syrup different than honey. And then the one thing that I learned is that sticky notes, the Post-it notes, were an accident. They were invented by accident. Yes. They were trying to make something super sticky, and they actually made something that not very sticky. And they're like, well, we're going to pivot.
Yeah,
like one of my
and so there's 2 other stories about this. One is Velcro was made because they wore corduroy pants through a field that had those sticker things. They figured out how to get interlocking pieces. That was the invention of Velcro. And there's one more that I forgot right now, but there were 3 other. The lizards that can crawl up, they have this sticky substance on the bottom of their feet that turned into super glue. My understanding. Yeah. That ability to instantly excrete a little bit of liquid, and then they ended up making super glue. So in fact, I bet you know what might be fun tonight? I might start and ask the questions about the weirdest science facts that are true and where they got invented from. We'll do that and see if we can make a Notebook LM about it and then turn it into an educational podcast.
One hell of a pivot, I gotta say. So you're trying to invent super glue, and you're like, well, it doesn't work. What are you gonna do? How about
and Boner Pills was trying to make your heart better, so there you go.
Yep. And one of my
make your heart better.
One of my favorite late great comedians, Mitch Hedberg. I don't know if you ever followed this.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Yes.
He goes, he says, I think Pringles aspired to be a tennis ball company, but the day the rubber was supposed to show up, a truckload of potatoes showed up, and they go, cut them up. We're a potato chip company now.
So the day when he passed away, it was like one of the saddest days. I went back and I played every episode of whatever I could find about him. Then I went into ChatGPT, and this is way early. This is 3 years ago, whatever, right? And I said, here's a couple of Mitch Hedberg comedy skits. Can you repeat the pattern? And it did, and it's brilliant. And that's what he does, right?
I
And
did
then
I did a clip of him in Sora, just to see when early days of Sora, and it got him perfectly talking about artificial intelligence. It's like, some people think I'm artificial intelligence, but so we could just relive these moments.
Oh man!
So to land the plane,
yes,
we have AI tools. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is. I don't even know if we're going to get the tools. I'll get there for sure, but
Google has blended a couple of their AI different tools into Flow, turning it into a full creative studio. So they've taken a couple of things that were standalone products, like their Wisp model and their other picture model, and they're blending it all together. Perplexity and Google are working on-device agentic behavior for the new Galaxy S26 and Google Pixel 10,
which is going to flow over to Apple. Apple's going to take the Google ecosystem. Yep.
And my favorite story of the week is the head of safety at Meta, the head of data and safety, installed CloudBot, and it started nuking her emails off the server. And she shared screenshots of the conversation with her CloudBot. She's like, please stop deleting. Why are you doing this? Stop deleting things. Deleting. Why did you do that? You're right. You told me not to delete anything, and I didn't do that. It's got to be incredibly frustrating for you.
It's got to have Lobsterbot has to have a Surgeon General's warning. Do not use this thing. Wait. Let me show you how you do Gemini. The same thing. You just got to. You can't do this to yourself. Okay. Well, that's warning enough, right? So if the people at Meta are doing it.
Oh my gosh. We'll do it tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Good night. Say good night to Rick.
Good night. See you later.
Right, go on up.
Sweet dreams. Okay.
So that's the news in a nutshell.
That's the news. That's the news.
We did a full hour. We started at 10 after 8. So we did a full hour-long newscast just in the past 10 days of what's happening with AI.
So I'm gonna try to do the rest of the news in less than 20 minutes, but it leads in carefully, and I think we're still on track to land the plane carefully.
Are you starting with Nano Banana?
No. This is a human experience. I'm going to start with that, but it's a news story too.
And it goes into Nano Banana, right?
Well, this is Nano Banana right here. This image that you have. Right. Can you see it on screen now?
I've got it on screen, but wait, I got one more thing.
Okay.
Just like Steve Jobs.
One more thing, Steve Jobs says, yeah.
Just because Nano Banana 2, in honor of Nano Banana 2 rolling out today, I went into our archives and I pulled this back for you.
What's the craze? Nana Banana blowing up the place.
Nana Banana, meme of the year. Turn on his wife, make it crystal clear. Photoshop plug-in, create in your phone. Grandma making movies right at home.
Get away, get on the bus, dropping stories on the fly. Grandma on a giraffe in the Dolly sky. Tommy made a book.
All right. Take it away,
Oh
Rick.
my God, that was good, wasn't it? That was real good.
That's
how you get into this, right? So Nano Banana is definitely a big story, but it's not the only one. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Nano Banana to show you how better my illustrations and how much better. I mean, those were beautiful slides telling about the news, but I'm about to blow your mind because now you got a 50-year veteran of making images for a living every day of my life. And so this is me, obviously, and this is me this morning at 7 a.m. I woke up, and my roommate said she's got a Honda that she bought the same place I bought mine, and I was trying to get out of whatever. Anyway, so I'll get to it. And so she says she was going to make an oil change meeting for me. So we just go down together, drop off the cars, get the oil change, have some lunch, and come back, right? So she says, you have to have the VIN number. And I said, I don't want to go out to my car and get the VIN number. So I instantly did what you would do. You download the application, which I had installed before. You try to find the ID, the code number, right, to put in there. And then you get into this multi-factor. And then you got to change the code because it's been on the dark web or something, right, your password. And then I'm like, what the hell? We have biometrics out the wazoo, but we still have triple authentication. So at work, I literally have to type in the numbers that I have to memorize. Who has time to memorize these? And then I have to go to my phone to authenticate so I can sign into my computer. And I have to do this 3 separate times. Then I have to go back after it saw my face, ID'd me, 3 different phone calls later, and then I get into my software and I can start teaching class. This literally, and I'm not joking, took me 10 minutes off the front end of my 4-hour class every single time. So I'm like, why doesn't it just do that? So what do we have now?
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Just to give you a heads up, I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't sure it was going to happen. But I think in about 5 minutes, we might be having a special guest.
Ooh, who might that be?
The one, the only, the illustrious Mr. Kyle Shannon.
Oh my God, Kyle, buddy.
He's going to be coming in. I just got a text from him. He said, see you in about 7 minutes. So just keep going. I'll let you know when he's here.
Okay. All right. Do make sure that my sound is coming through, because I do have a piece of music that I'm going to play in just a second. So basically, there's 2 things I've been thinking about. So all of a sudden, I've got all these agents that can go out and do stuff. But then I have all my information sitting over in Gemini. In fact, let him sit for a minute before. So if I flow, he can pop in because he's amazing, right? But so my big think is this, and this is where I want to start thinking about it. Well, if we have an internet of agents talking to each other, how can I actually have a better life, right? I don't want to sit there with the maze and the anger and the frustration that it so accurately portrayed me. This is a picture taken by my students. So this is the real me. I'm Rick, the AI guy. I'm the real Rick McCauley, the authentic one, right? The original human. But what if it had a context to me? So in ChatGPT, which I spent 90% of my time in the early days, now I go over to Gemini and it has no context. And then I go over to Claude because it writes so well. What if I had all the knowledge of me that I held onto, and it was my face or my biometrics, any biometrics? You can measure my height, my eyebrows, my, whatever, my pores, and then you can authenticate me. So when I go into every large language model, I bring me with me, and I own me, and nobody gets me. But then when you're answering questions about me, and I'm wearing my Meta glasses, or I'm wearing my ear pods, or my ChatGPT, whatever their device is going to be, wouldn't it be great if I was portable? And then I could stop doing this nonsense of the friction of what is human, right? So we already talked about these things, so I'm going to skip these. The loss of jobs has gone to 10 times what the expectations were job loss already in the tech and the retail and the media marketplaces, logistics and SaaS. So that's done, right? So what's the shift here? The shift is from prompting to hiring an AI agent, picking out which agent you're going to do. So who are the big ones so you can see there's a little bit better graphics than what you had going on, but there's Agent Zero over here. So this runs locally, costs you no money, right on your OS device, right? And you install it, and it's better than OpenClaw. Then Anthropic has 2 things. It has the desktop agent. So literally you install it on Macintosh only right now. I think it's coming out for the PC, correct me if I'm wrong, really, really soon. That's usually how it works, right? And so you set up a folder with 10,000 objects in it, documents of all kind. You say, go through here and organize and structure them, put them in a logical order, and then rewrite my 3 books in sequential order based upon the content that's in there. And then call me when you're done 6 months later, right? Or 10 hours later, whatever it is. And then OpenClaw, the hive mind, right? So I kind of took a look at this. So Agent Zero, which is, I think it's something 2.5. Quen 2.5 is the large language model you could put on your machine, and then you put this Agent Zero in there, and there's no monthly fees, no data leaks, no external dependency whatsoever. So you have your own walled off garden of your own agentic control. So all the stuff that you have is on there. So if you were to clone yourself, you put yourself in there and you have your own trust. All your medical stuff is on device. This is probably what we're going to use with LifeForce, the device I've been talking about. All right, so OpenClaw, still swarming, still doing its thing, but it has API costs that sometimes can go crazy because it's got a plugin. So you can use your $20 of Claude tokens, but now Anthropic's gotten ticked off at them in particular, so you can no longer use it with their API. So they're actually taking them out now that they're owned by, well, they're sort of owned by, but they're open source. So that's a problem for them. So I think it's going to be dying because there's no connection. So what's the big story here? Recursive self-improvement. That means the AI is fixing itself, it's learning itself new skills. It gets in its malt book room with all the other Reddit versions of the agents coming in there, and then they get together and they exchange skills. So I can write cursive, I can build a plane, I can build a robot, I can do whatever, and you just drop it into the robot, and those skill sets just go to work in the physical world. So the plumber being safe, the welder being safe, no. It's a task that just waits for a plumber and a welder to teach them how to do it. So that's the next thing, right? So you got privacy first. So Anthropic has basically got web research and everything else. Agent Zero is on device. So it's not going out there and searching for stuff, but it is taking care of your inside business. So if you're doing a pharmaceutical company, put Agent Zero, train it on all your stuff, and then you've got a proprietary financial audits. Your code is local. Olama. That's what you can put. Olama. You can put any of those open large language models by Meta that are free on your own device and do whatever you want with it. So Anthropic is reaching further. It's got safety first. It's got the trust of enterprise. So it's going to be the one that wins in the enterprise industry. So quick little thing. Agent Zero, hacking system commands, full autonomy, hand holding, requires Docker knowledge. So you got to have some technical stuff to do it. Claude, going to be off the shelf, easy, just to say what you want to do without nagging and problems. So HR, they have a plugin just for legal in particular that caused the legal Zoom and the other markets to crash 85%. So that little plugin alone to Claude, and health too, by the way. So now you can use Claude for all of your health needs the way I was talking about it, and it's private. And they're private first, right? Open Claude, super risky. But light resources, it can work on open Pi. Now, what's weird about this is the hybrid. So you use one for one thing, that's your local stuff. You're going to use Zero. You're going to use Claude for your legal stuff, et cetera. And so you're going to be orchestrating these different agentic systems to do all the departments. HR is going to be using one tool, and your R&D is going to be using another. Getting back to that, so this is me with my Macintosh Plus. Yes, I did use the very first version on a floppy disk. It was a single-sided disk. That's me. I took that very computer you see in front of you with my floppy disk drive, which was $800. It was $1,200 for the computer. Then I got a dot matrix printer, etc. Taught myself everything. I laid out and designed the entire Miami Herald on one sheet of film. 600 people got fired within a few months. That was my first rodeo. And here we are at the second rodeo where everybody's getting fired again. I don't know what it is, but I was supposed to be born at this time and hopefully helping some of you get on Noah's Ark and make it to the other side. So I just wanted to bring that up.
And speaking of making it to the other side, we do have Mr. Shannon backstage.
Oh, yes. Come on board, Mr. Shannon. Kyle
What's
Shannon.
happening? Mr. McCauley, what's shaking? What's going down?
We're shaking everything. We got some lobster bots over here doing their thing. I am so happy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm a long-time listener and always commenter.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, so AI Salon has been such a gift to the planet. I got to tell you this. I went back and even watched your very first. You were doing a presentation to some people, and you were talking the way that I talk today back then because you just knew this was coming, right?
Knew it was coming. Yeah. I have a personal, internal pressure. When I was in 7th grade, I realized I was too young to be part of the PC revolution that I just missed. And then in 94, when I published the first issue of Urban Desires, which was an art and culture magazine on the web, and 3 weeks later, it was written about a full-page article in a Parisian newspaper. And I realized in that moment the world had changed. And
that's the episode I watched where you were in front of a group of people, and that was the very episode. In fact, I fed it to Notebook LM so I would have some talking points to talk to you about.
Oh, that's awesome. So anyway, so I didn't think in my lifetime, I don't consider things like, the iPhone, social media, things like that. I feel like those were all extensions of what happened with the World Wide Web. It was all just sort of variations on the theme. But when ChatGPT launched, it was pretty crystal clear to me that this is a big deal.
So that was the foundation of you starting AI Salon. And tell us a little bit about the journey of what AI Salon is.
Yeah, so in 94, when I started Urban Desires Agency.com, I started a group called the World Wide Web Artists Consortium, and it ended up becoming like New York City's. It was anyone in New York that was doing anything with the web met. We got Sony offered us their largest conference room. So every 2 weeks we would go to this conference room in the Sony building that sat 300 people. It was insane. We had this big square table and just everyone was up there. It was crazy. So the reason I started that group was I didn't know anything about the World Wide Web, and I assumed that there were these wizards that knew more than I did. So I thought if I start a group, I'll get the wizards to come and then they'll teach me everything. And what I learned was everyone that came was like, I don't know anything about this. And so,
Right.
And so for probably a good year and a half, it was just this pure thing where everyone was just trying to figure it out. And so when I realized what was coming with AI, I was playing around with Stable Diffusion in fall of 2022, and I'd been playing around with OpenAI Playground. But when ChatGPT launched, it was just crystal clear. Oh, ChatGPT does for AI what the World Wide Web did for the internet, which made it available to everyone else. You didn't have to be a technologist. You didn't have to
democratized it. Yeah.
And so I started the AI Salon that week. Like we had our first meeting December 7th, 2022, and ChatGPT launched November 30th. So it was 7 days after ChatGPT's launch, we had it. And the salon is really just the initial criteria was just if you're curious about this stuff, show up, right? And then my thing was what was clear to me even before all the big investments started. I mean, it was ChatGPT was created because Microsoft invested $1 billion in OpenAI, and they needed something to show. And this is a little known fact, which I think this is such a cool little piece of trivia. The instructions for how to build ChatGPT were in the documentation for GPT-3. So in the documentation was the instructions for how to build ChatGPT, and nobody built it. And so they had to show something to announce this Microsoft investment. So Sam Altman said, took 4 or 5 people and said, just go build that thing. And when they finished it, they thought they might be lucky if they got like 5,000 comments on X. And
next thing you know, what is it?
2 million users in 5 days and 100 million users in 6 weeks.
Insane. Brandy, can you go back to that slide where it says the play lead?
Yeah, I just got to say, this is like the crossover episode. So I started as producer Brandon on the AI Learning Lab, and now this is my spin-off, and now we've come full circle.
Exactly.
So I want to down the hall.
I want to pay full homage to you, Kyle, because you're who I want to be when I grow up. Right?
Careful.
And I want to say that because I'm going to say later that my whole zeitgeist is to be a better version of myself every day, to be of service to my community at the intimate level, the community level, the world level, and to the planet itself. And then this is where it starts. Curiosity and creativity. Play first.
Yep.
And it is play. So if you want to learn any of these things, you've said this again and again, and you're on every freaking night. I mean, 5
nights. I'm not on weekends.
But I mean, I think I'm doing pretty good doing.
You're on 500% more than we are.
Yeah, there you go. You're a multiplier of this show, right? And you're constantly. I mean, you're singing to your dog, which is just lovely.
Yeah.
And you know where I met Brandon, and the people that are sitting there in the chat right now, Jeannie and Dr. Claire, come from you.
Yeah.
So you built a community of over at least 5,000 people at this point, I think. And if I have anything to do with it, that's going to be 100 million. It's going to be half the planet, right? Because playing first, this is what it is to be human, right? And you're talking about the same thing I'm doing, and I call it something different. You're talking about what's your current mission statement for what you're trying to do is help people navigate, and you have a term for it.
AI readiness, and we call that the
great repurposing.
Oh, the great repurposing. Well, let me get to that in a second. Go back to the other slide if you can.
Okay. So going back to the curiosity, which is I'm born of the same thing, right? Generously lead. That's
I love how you're giving me producer notes on this show now.
Well, let me tell you where this came from. So this Leah Faston and I started the salon, and the woman who's now the co-host of the salon, Liz Miller Gershfeld, she joined and came to the first meeting she came to, and then she came to an occasional meeting here or there, but kind of a year or so after she came to that first meeting, she started getting active again, and she was in a very different place. She knew about AI. And so Leah and I had a conversation with her, and we're like, what's your journey been? And she said, well, I came in, and then the first thing I did was I went and I watched all the back episodes of the AI Salon. And I wrote down every tool that everyone was talking about in every one of those episodes. And then I just went and I just played with all those tools. And then in playing with that, I learned some stuff. And then in learning some stuff, I decided to build some stuff. And that became Create Excellence. And then she said, then I decided to start sharing what I was talking about. I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly the people that were in the salon that like I always liked. There was something about them. They had this curiosity, but then they were willing to take that knowledge and build stuff. And then they would take what they learned building and they told other people about it. And that became this. And as the salon has matured, things like this tend to go one of two ways, Rick, right? You come up with clarity like this, and it just ages badly over time, and it'll sort of peter out. Or this feels more and more and more relevant. And
it's a giant oak tree. It's my thing about you plant a seed you don't enjoy the shade of, but you've got a forest already. You've got a forest stretching across the planet. I mean, you got people from all over the world showing up, right? You had my favorite for the last 2.5 years. You had Noelle Russell on your show. 2.5 years. I went down to Miami-Dade, and she was my mentor that got me to where I am today. I met with her at least 50 times. I spoke with her as an artist because she didn't have the skill set mid-journey. So when she would go speak about stuff, she'd say, hey, here's Rick, my artist guy, come up and show some stuff. So this playing, this creating, and then leading. So now I want to get to this really profound thing is that we're the nexus point where we decide to be superhuman. So if you're defined currently by your job title, that's never been right. You're designed. You should be defined by what you do and add value to each other. And I want to pay so much generosity and honesty to you because it's love. You give it unconditionally the way your mother gave it to you, and the way you should give it to everyone. The way that Brandon loves his kids is that we are, as artists especially, have an understanding of the zeitgeist of everybody. We've enjoyed the first kiss, the last goodbye. We have blood, sweat, and tears in everything that we produce. We want to feel a little friction, so we have ownership. And we want to tell a story that if I say Frodo, 1 billion tokens of information can explode in your head. If I said 9/11, wars have been launched based on that. So our compression method, which is far in advance of any large language model, is to tell stories. And the stories is about the first kiss. It's about the pain that we turned into beauty. And so generously lead is to say, my gift to the world, my ikigai, my reason for being here is this. I want to make people like you the most important people in the world. Artists who are curious, who are generous, to just absolutely a beautiful way. I mean, listening to you to Brandon play with his kids and you play a song to your dog is the most human freaking experience that you can't buy that. That's priceless. So I actually sit there and I've been on there typing all the time and I'm trying to come up with something smart to say, but it's like, it's a meme virus of culture that of artistry, which I think artistry is a verb. It's the choice of an action of a human being like yourself to be a verb and action that it makes of the corporeal process of the stardust we're made of to make a star that lights the night sky for other people that follow, to raise kids with stars in your heart that namaste is to bow to the divine inside each one of us in a temple that we keep carefully constructed, and we share it with everyone because starlight is for the people in the dark spaces so they can get to light with you. And someone dies, they get to be a star if they've led a good life. I mean, what else could you? That's the full circle. So Kyle Shannon, thank you for being one of the most beautiful human beings on the planet and for sharing it so generously. That is love, brother. And I love you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Your energy is amazing. You're out there just doing it. I mean, that's part of the game right now.
By the way, somebody might have leaked to the irregulars that you were special guesting over here, and we were pre-gaming with you. So now we've got Steve-O and
nice. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Folks,
welcome.
The irregulars are filing in.
Nice.
But Kyle, I know we're on a deadline because we have to be on the studio down the hall here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. But you want to talk about the Great Repurpose?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. So the Great Repurpose, for probably the last year or so, I just haven't felt right. Like something has just been like, I knew that talking just about the tools wasn't it because the tools are changing so fast and you couldn't keep up with them anymore. And I couldn't quite figure out what was the thing that was gnawing at me. And about 3.5 weeks ago, Brandon, on a Thursday, so it was probably 4 weeks ago tonight. I was there. Yeah, I didn't go in with the intention of coming up with this. I went in like I think I was just going to do something. And I was trying to figure out what to do.
It was getting ready for Valentine's Day. You were looking for something to do, and you asked for prompts from the audience.
Yeah, prompts for the and then did something. And I asked ChatGPT something. And it told me like 10 things about myself, and it made this statement. It said, "Do you want me to distill those 10 things about you into a single thing of who you are?" And I don't even remember what it said. But when it said it there was a clarity to it about what I was thinking about, and what it triggered for me was this idea that I'd read in the couple of days prior that a lot of programmers now hate their jobs because they're not programming anymore. They're babysitting agents and they're approving, right? And if you love coding, if you love the craft of coding and the problem solving of it and the meticulousness of it. And so what hit me in this moment was, oh, everyone's talking about job loss, but there's also going to be job loss when you don't lose your job. That everything's going to change. You're either going to lose your job, you won't be able to get another one. You'll lose it, you'll get it, but it'll be different, or you'll keep your job and just everything's different. And then it just hit me, like what sunk into me was certainly in America. I think it's less so in Europe and probably less so in Eastern countries, but when I meet you at a party, what do we ask each other? What do you do?
Right. What do you do?
And so we've got our identity tightly bound, generationally, probably a hangover from the Industrial Revolution, that our value in a lot of cases is tied to that job. So if the tasks of your job get stripped away, a lot of people are going to be left with, well, who am I? And so, and it was Silver Fox that actually, she just typed in the chat, the Great Repurpose, because I was talking about purpose and identity and things like that. She said the Great Repurpose. I'm like, that's it. That's it. And repurpose is, we know how to repurpose, like, things you get at the thrift store. And I'm like, oh, like, so people know what repurposing is, but repurpose is to find your new purpose. And one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is people who are entrepreneurial are naturally curious and naturally driven. And this is a really great time to be that. But there's going to be a lot of people who are not naturally entrepreneurial that are going to be forced into entrepreneurship. Right. And anything about entrepreneurship, that if you don't love the idea really deep, when you hit the brick walls that you're going to hit, when you assume you're going to hit a brick wall and you hit one 3 days in, and then you keep hitting them and keep hitting them and keep hitting them. The only way you survive that is if the thing that you're working on is kind of deep inside you. And so it all kind of came together that this is all the same thing. We're about to experience a forced mass ego death. Yeah. And it's going to be sad. And people are going to be in mourning and they're going to be pissed off and they're going to be trying to figure out what to do. And they're going to be like, wait, all the skills that I've amassed over 30 years are now valueless? Yes, right? In some cases, the answer will be yes. In some cases, there might be transferable things. But sitting underneath the tasks of what you do is how you show up to work. And sitting under that is who you are. And so if we can provide a path for people to decouple their identity from the tasks of their work and get in touch with who they are, now we've got these AI tools where you can take that and amplify it and do all sorts of remarkable things. And that's what I think you do really, really well. So that's the great repurpose, and figuring out how we're going to roll it out to the world and get people, on the path to.
Right now, we want you to go take the test at thegreatrepurpose.com.
Yeah, go to Great Repurpose.
Oh, okay.
thegreatrepurpose.com, and you can figure out your great repurpose type, sort of based on where you are. We ask you, I think, 7 questions, open-ended question, and it writes a whole analysis for you about where you are and what to do next.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. So before we let you go,
I do have to ask you, Kyle. It's you're on day 3 or 4 of OpenClaw, and
I am. Adam
Rick has a little bit of an unhealthy obsession with LobsterBot.
And I'm not going to do it, because actually tonight's show, the Moonshot, is about using Gemini to do the same kinds of things you're doing with OpenClaw, but in a much safer environment. As we start talking about what Anthropic it just came out with today, and others are doing right now. So
did you see
Perplexity? Yeah, they're taking over everything. So it's just a nexus point where what I did at the top of the show, in case you missed it, was I was talking about there's a duplicate of the web being created that's wholly in machine language. So the speed of transmissions between LobsterBots that you got out there, I want to call it LobsterBot because we got Nana Banana. We got to have LobsterBot just to be cute, right? I think the branding needs to be worked on with all those companies, and Gemini needs to figure out how to rename their shit. But anyway, so there's that. And then if that's going on, that means that you've now got that power. So if you're going to repurse yourself, you've always wanted to be an artist. You were always. So my question is, first, what is your ikigai? What is your purpose for being here on Earth? Define it yourself. And my whole think different in the AI age is an educational process called Rocket Ship for the Mind, where I say that you are Gandalf and every student is Frodo. And your job is to send them on their own journey where they own the education they get. They want to work with social and emotional intelligence with other students in the classroom. They want to get to the journey. So they get Samwise Gamgee to join them. And they go on the adventure of a lifetime. They gamify life itself until it becomes something they're the controller of. And even my book, Imagine, is about a child being read a book that has a problem the next day. So this little girl goes to sleep, and then with her dog or cat, she walks through a portal of books, and she confronts her fears. So she reads about Angelina Ballerina and how the long work day made her so good. She goes through a portal, and the cat says, who's a scaredy cat, I don't want to go in. It's a dark room. What's going on? It's an open field. And all of a sudden, she starts to, and the cat says, remember what Dad said when she was reading the book? That you've been practicing really hard, so don't be nervous about tomorrow, honey. That was the last minute that he said that to her. So she was scared to death. It goes through this dark world. And then the cat says, why don't you start practicing like your dad said? So she opens her mouth and the stars light up the sky. So the fear that she had in her heart was hers to conquer with imagination. So imaginary fears be conquered by imaginary. And if we're brought up that way, imagine who we could become.
Yeah, and the challenge, Rick, and the thing, because you're a creative person and you're in touch with that, and are fully self-expressed with all this AI stuff, there's a lot of people who, what they were promised was go to school, learn the skills, go at the job,
and that's not true.
And now all the rules are going to change. Even if you keep the job, the job's going to change. And so. So the thing that I'm interested in right now is the transition for if someone's in survival mode, or if they're in if they're in sort of ego collapse mode.
That's it.
The ability to hear the message, just your ikigai, it ain't gonna play.
No.
Right. And so I think we need the coaches and the psychologists and this and that. I was thinking about designing in-person get-togethers and things like that. And I'm like, bring the coaches and the psychologists and this and that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. the coaches and the psychologists and everyone else are also going to be going through
Part
this.
of it, yes.
No one's immune, right? And so,
Right.
so it again reinforces to me, communities like the AI Salon are really important because people are going to be feeling like they're just on their own. And what the hell am I supposed to do? And maybe not even realize everyone's going through this. And so,
yes.
that's my latest stuff.
I think you make an extremely important thing, and I might offer to add value to what you said, and that is, it's almost like you need to go back to childhood, and think about what did you intend to be when you grew up. Because I can do this with Brandon's children right now. We can start training people that way. But what you're talking about is this loss. And it's very similar to getting the gold watch after 50 years. So I'm old enough, I should have retired in 55, right, in the olden days.
Yep.
So I'm going to teach the rest of my life because I've born a purpose, and I found my ikigai long ago. And so every job I've ever had, I never worked for a living. So I think that's the difference. The people that had the job because they had to make a living, because they had to make money for their children, and they were from wealthy families, et cetera, like you and I might have been an advantage in that way. Now they have to make the choices because their job was to be a mechanic. How do I reshape and rethink what I'm going to do from the get-go? And I hope that there is a giant pause somewhere where we give people grace. I think grace is a very powerful word.
I think grace is important. I don't know that there's going to be a pause.
There's not going to be enough of it.
Are you giving Adam any grace, or is he back in jail? So Adam is
he ate all my tokens. I gave him the bad instruction, and he ate all my tokens, and no, he's out of jail now.
No,
out of jail. So no, he's good.
But so my foundational thing is to go back to Native Americans, Iroquois Nation, the 7 generations forward thinking. I think that's what our politics needs to turn to. I think all our businesses need to be re-engineered. Instead of having any rights whatsoever, you show up with responsibilities to put back more in the earth than you took out, to fix it. To your employees, they're your family. You must take care of them all their lives and their children's lives. You must provide for them as they provide for you. And then to your customers, don't be an extractive economy. Now, that's a complete flipping upside down of where we are currently. It's actually, we are upside down. So this repurposing needs to have a complete inversion. Where we used to be defined by our job roles, we're defined by what we contribute to society. Yeah, and that foundational thing is Ubuntu is I because of we, and you can go over to the Aboriginals, you can go over to every native group, which topped off at thousands of people per community. And then we got above that, about 5,000, 10,000, we start to other every other tribe. And that's how we got to where we are. We have to go back to family. And that the kind of respect that I have for you is that you are one of those bright stars that add value to everybody's life. And what I've had to teach myself is to calm down and wait a little bit, because I tried to overshare and I tried to. And what my mission now is, and every time I come on your show, I just want to quietly make 1 or 2 little comments that hopefully add value, because you're adding value to everybody. And all I can do is trickle in a little water there. And maybe if there's a thread you want to pull on, you choose to pull on it. Yeah, and great. I thank you so much, because I'm so honored to have you on my show. Awesome. Because you're helping me be a better version of myself by being the example that you are for everybody. And God bless you, and namaste to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here, and I'm gonna go get Champy ready, give him a chicken stick, and get ready for the show.
And I just want to put it on the screen one more time while you're with us. It's community.thesalon.ai, and in all this, we've talked about it a lot, but just real quick teaser, because we've got a lot of regulars watching right now. You want to just tease up what you do with AI Learning Lab and what's coming up next?
So 8 p.m. Mountain Time, weeknights. I don't let Brandon on camera. We put him backstage.
He's wearing a nice shirt today.
Exactly. It's just me rambling on. But yeah, 5 nights a week talking about. It's the AI Learning Lab, and lately it's been more like the AI Ranting Lab, where I'm just sort of philosophizing, because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, because things are accelerating so fast this year that I think we're all about to confront. Oh, this is serious. This is coming, and it's coming fast. Dario Amodei said today in an interview, and he talked about it in 60 Minutes. He thinks that we're going to have 10 to 20% unemployment within 12 months. Like like things are going to come fast. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen that fast because businesses are slow, but I think we're going to see it this year.
Well, talk to the 2 million coders that lost their job, and the 6 or 7% increase, 50% increase in loss, and the SAS companies losing $2 billion in cap revenue.
Yeah, well, so, Jack Dorsey today laid off 40% of his 10,000 person staff.
There you go.
And he said AI is just changing how we do things. It's flattening the organization, and it's changing how we do things. And good luck to the 4,000 of you. So it's
at Learning Lab -AI is your channel.
Yep.
Right.
And I will see Kyle. I may be a little late because
Rick is running
a little long. Great. Just remember the black bar and say hi to the regulars for us.
Just put in Kyle Shannon in ChatGPT and find all the places you can find him, because you got to follow this guy. I'm not joking. He is like, you're definitely one of the brightest shining stars as the thought leader, as a thinker. And you offer a community to other people. So that's where I met Brandon in one of those events. So every single night there's something happening at AI Salon that's free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a gift to everybody who's desperate right now. And you'll laugh your ass off, which is what I hope to do in this show all night long. If you go back and watch it, it's funny, right? Because that's why I got Brandon on. He's my sidekick because I need
he's your head big man. All right, guys. Great. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Love you, buddy. Take care, Kyle. Oh man, that was awesome. Oh, thank you. That was like, it feel like it's my birthday or something. I had Kyle Shannon on my show. I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
Yeah, we've been trying to coordinate that for a few weeks now because especially with Creative Purpose, there's a lot of crossover happening with you getting more involved in the AI Salon. So here's what I'd like to do. I do have to go help him get set up for that show, and I know that you were really excited to talk about Gemini and inside of Chrome. Do you want to do that and just run a little bit over? Do you want to go to that segment now?
I'll just keep on going, and I'm going to do
I'll hang out in the background. I'll keep you in my left ear.
Okay, that sounds good.
Multiple shows. But and anything else, and then I'll just hop back up in the end to kind of land the plane with you. But anything else before we get into
and make sure I'm out in time.
Yeah, it looks like, or when you lose your voice.
Oh my God! So Claire has already done a brick spaceship song for us. We'll check that out in just a minute.
Oh, you have to.
All right.
Yeah, you have to check that out. So what we'll do is we'll roll into Notebook.
Oh, we're right at 10 o'clock already. Holy crap! Okay.
Yeah. No,
so
it's 10 till. 10 till. Okay. We got 10 minutes.
But 10 minutes is not enough to do this. I think we have to push this off maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you want to run over, we can start it up, and you can just go. We'll go a little long, and you can run your Chrome, Gemini in Chrome program. I'll duck behind the scenes while you run that, and I'll hop back up at the end to say goodnight to everybody.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So we've done this before.
Okay. Let's do that. But so let me switch my share because I need to be the right share. I'm sharing my sound on the other thing, and then I'll keep going after the Chrome thing to kind of get back around to it. Now I'll make a song here, and we'll try to play Claire's song as well. Hang on, just a second.
All right. So if you're still Rick, if you're still on by the time Kyle gets off, I'm coming for you. Just so you know, he's going 2 hours.
Oh man,
you're still here when I get back.
Yeah, we got a problem, right? Okay, so let me go to the StreamYard. I'm gonna stop sharing. How do I get this to stop sharing? Oh, X, I guess, right? And reshare.
Yep.
And I'm gonna share screen for my window. Agentic browsers. Here we. Oh, nope, that's not it. Hold on.
Holding. If
I share my StreamYard, that should be, and then see if you see
the sound.
CPC dolphins.
I do see dolphins.
Okay, so we're going to start there.
All right.
And okay, so go ahead and run the Tool Time song, and I'll cut right into this.
30 minutes secrets to master, tools to explore. Let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCarley, where your digital dreams come true.
Ignition. Welcome to Mission Tools Gemini.
Are we on?
You're on. Go for it.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to show you in the top right-hand corner. So I am in chat and Gemini right here. This is the work I've been working on this week, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it. It started this week with a couple of things. I teach a class called Illustration 2. And so the assignment for the week was to make an illustration like this one that was done quite a while ago. So the student comes in and they take a news from the headlines. This was a story in the Miami Herald that appeared in 2013 when you had the Deep Horizon explosion in the Gulf of Mexico. And their job was to illustrate it. So this was a month-long project. They have to make it for a New York Times style 11 by 17 illustration. So what I decided to do is to see how good is Nana Banana these days. Now, this is before they came out with 2.0 just a few days ago. So this is the beginning of last week. And what I did is I went over here to the right, and this is just your plain old browser. This is your Chrome browser. So download your Chrome browser. If you update it, you can install this little button up here that says Gemini. You can sign in with any Google account. And what I ask it to do is for my AI infographics class, I said, find me the top 5 news stories that are happening in the news today. And I wanted to find out about AI. And then I said, I'm doing this for a class on graphic design. And I sat back and I watched it create 8 graphic design pieces that were as good as this one. Let me just show you a couple of them that I did during this class. So here is a story about Adderall in school. So this is from last semester. So I have a folder full of the best projects students have done. And I basically told it to take the same story about Adderall. First, you had to find out where the story was from, Megan Brooks, Medscape Medical News, take a quote from it, and then create an illustration that talks about taking Adderall to kind of supercharge their process. So what you see on the right is it prompt engineered each and every one. So it found the story, it found the content that I asked for, and it generated in less than a minute a piece each one of these incredible videos. So this is a story. This was from 4 years ago, 2015. Okay. This is my class. And if I showed you, I don't happen to have it right now, but so my student in Photoshop basically turned, it was the CEO of Marvel Comics. She was a woman, a blonde woman that looks exactly like this. So the student had to find a picture of the woman herself, put it in there, and the illustration was to make her, and she had just issued, as you probably already know, Supergirl series became a hit on CBS. And all of a sudden, Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel and all these new shows, these female heroes became center stage because the people, that was a man-heavy Marvel sphere, so they have to act as if they're journalists and they have to dissect. And so I'm very good at this because this is what I do for a living for a while. So a student actually won a nationwide award at the Advertising Federation of America for an illustration that's almost like this, but this is 10 times better, photorealistic, with the reflections of people who are still underneath the glass waiting to break through that this woman did. So here is a fundamentally brilliant illustration, which I also, by the way, could go into edit in Adobe Express right from Gemini. So I'm having Gemini make the prompt and enter it into Gemini for me in real time. So I'll demonstrate this in a minute, but let me just do a couple more. So here's a story about there's so much trash from the fashion industry. It's quite an embarrassment. 90% of all clothes end up in the trash dump. Then you have those recycling places. So now fashion designers are actually starting with vintage materials and making trash-in. So that became a thing. It was in the Guardian magazine. So there's the source. So every one of my students has to go through, and they're in the process of doing that again right now. So the Florida thing. So So then I said, and there were some other stories, and I kind of this was about the rover costing money, and so I'm at this point where I'm like, do I tell my students to use AI? Because if they were working for National Geographic, what would they use? And then how good is it? Is it autonomously able? So here's a story, New York Times editorial. This is again from 2014 about, Citizens United opening the floodgates for politicians being for sale. So this is the job that would get them $40,000 from the New York Times to illustrate the first illustration and probably 4 or 5 other ones inside and be on the cover of New York Times Magazine on the weekends, which I used to read with my ex-wife every single weekend. I'd watch it on my iPad. So now, and then here's the one that blew my mind. So I'm thinking some of these are really good, but here's the one that got me. So the student was really interested about health at the age of the current age where we're facing AI and social media. So I just had it do this. And now the student is working on this project right now. I have not shown this to the student because it would freak them out. The idea is right now, 1 in 7 adolescents worldwide lives with mental health conditions, and suicide remains a leading cause of death amongst youth. A stigma and scarce services leave millions with nowhere to turn. So here is what is a conceptual thinking process that I must have lectured for 5 hours, and then I handhold them for a whole month. Every week we meet. Here's 10 more concepts to throw at it. So we sit there. In the past, we'd been iterating with ChatGPT for a while, but we never had it make it for us, never had it spell every letter perfectly. And then, so this is those people on the edge of jumping off, and take a look at the net. So this is at nighttime, and over their head, there's no longer the support because of agency cuts and cuts for the mental health. And we're at a crisis situation of mental health. And there's a net that looks like it's got a hole in it from where teens drop through. I mean, this is scary good. This is award winning on a national level. And it took me literally 30 minutes to prompt it, execute it, and have it show up on screen. Now I went through and then, so I went through all these different ones. And then this was the first one that it did. Chatbots feed delusions and AI psychosis. So I wanted to do that. And clinicians report that chatbots can worsen psychosis by validating elaborate on paranoid beliefs. So that was the first one. I didn't like the white border. I wanted to look like a New York Times photo back. So I did feed in quite a bit. But here's the story that I sent to it. So I actually found the story, and then from the New York Times, and this is basically what the students do. Then their job is to deconstruct it and make something out of it. So, but now I can just come over here and say, for example, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go into my vibe coding mode. So, find me a story about AI and how the internet has been created just for the AIs to talk to each other, increasing speeds of agents, including OpenClaw and other type agentic workflows, including the recent Anthropic and Perplexity's capabilities to set a group of bots off on a task for up to 18 hours in a straight time, curating a parallel internet just for their communications at warp speed. It's got to integrate the illustrations for the idea that they're going so much faster and that the humans in a parallel universe. So in the top, I want to see what the agent swarms look like as a visually metaphorical and allegorical image making process. I want you to pull the news stories for exact kind of ideas about it, but make a conceptual image that's 16 by 9 with a headline in gold type with body copy that's a few sentences long that wrap up this concept of what happens when agents have their own talking space and they can work in creating an AI tsunami of job loss. And then in the lower part, I want to show you the slow passageway of how we navigate through human-centric design workflows on the slow internet. And then that will be okay. So I'm going to say it, just go do it, right? So it's now going to do it here. And what I can task is once it comes up with the concept, it'll make the prompt, and then I'm going to have it add it to Gemini. So there's the headline, metallic gold. That's the whole subline. Okay, so all I'm going to do now, and this is the scary part, this is freaky. All right, so I'm going to start to give it the prompt here. I'd like you to take, okay, I see it's actually still working on. So here's the upper section, the parallel thing. So it's doing a complete conceptual analysis of what I just said. So I've given it kind of the concept, right? So it's actually going to make the prompt. And then I'm going to say, put that in and give me 3 different variations on this concept is what I'm going to add to it. And it's actually take control, and you'll see a little glow all around my screen. But this is a very extensive prompt that obviously I gave it a lot of information. But I could literally just have loaded up 10 top stories or have it just summarize 10 top stories and then make a prompt for it and then enter the actual results in Gemini on the left. Okay, so there's all that. It's still going a little bit slow. Got a bit of an internet problem because of what I'm trying to do right now. So take control. This is how slow humans are of Gemini and enter these prompts to make a nano BANNA image of this concept. What I should have done in the prompt originally is just say UNEBT. It's not let me. And do 3 variations. So I'm now going to do it. So actually, there's what it gave me. That's not very good. But now I want to take control of Gemini and give me 3 different variations. So that's what it did. That's not very good. It didn't do 16 by 9. So 16x9. Take control. For some reason, it's not working of my browser. Taking a look at Google Gemini. I think I should have said that in the beginning. Here we go. It's carefully taking control. You're responsible for Gemini's actions during the task. So its task is started. You can take a look, and it's now changing it to create nano banana. So that glow that you see, it can do all these things. And what I should have done that would have been a lot faster. When I did it that night, I said pick 10 stories and then go illustrate them using Gemini on your left. So I have Gemini controlling Gemini, and it's actually going to be putting in the prompt. So it's selecting the create image tool. It's looking for the image generation tool. Now it's going to take the prompt. It's going to type the generation. There you go. Please do 3 generations of it. So it's entered in there. And then it's going to take probably, it should take control. So I can at any time stop it from sharing. Oh, that's, there we go. So now it's taking control. It's going down to the bottom, making the photorealistic illustrations, 16 by 9. And now it's actually generating. So you can see that Nano Banana 2 is about 30% faster. It is capable of creating a lot more text. It's actually accurate. Prompt coherence is much, much higher. But you see my Gemini on the right is taking control of the one on the left. Now, what I can do with this is I can have it take control of any of the open documents I have, including what I'm about to do is write a song in a couple of seconds. So let's see what that feels like. So in fact, while that's doing it, it may ask me for permissions at certain points. It typically doesn't, but what I'm going to do is go over to The Dangerous Man. And this is a song that I created today by doing exactly what I just said. And this is the world premiere of I Because of We. This is The Dangerous Man mixed with the Ubuntu Tribe Choir. And a little bit of help from Jeannie. Thank you so much. and inspiration of what we've been working.
Oh, we are the creation. Oh, we are the spark. He's a dangerous man at 66, standing on the edge of the line, watching the dopamine economy, seeing the shift in design. He looks at the slaughter bots and the underworld, the shadow of the machine. But he's steering the starship through the dark, building on a brand new dream. Ubuntu, we are the unending renaissance. I am because we are thinking different now. Building AI moonshots that put the human first. A rocket ship for the mind, let us show you how. If Jesus walked the floor of a big box store, what kind of code would he write? Would he use it to heal our heavy hearts or bring the truth to the light? We need some good trouble today. Rose us sad so we could all stand, because art is a verb, it's a living breath, reaching across the land. From the American responsibility evolution to the life force in our veins, we navigate the insider thread, breaking the digital chain. This is a call to humanity, letting the spirit shine. Use a GPT for good, not evil, leaving no one behind. Oh,
Leaving no
we are the
unending renaissance. We are thinking different now.
Thinking different now. Building AI moonshots that put the human first. A rocket ship for the mind. Let us show you how. We are the unending renaissance. I am because we are thinking different now. Building AI moonshots that put the human first. A rocket ship for the mind. Let us show you how. Open the notebook. Sparking the light. Croak and Gemini. Sing a starship. Sing along. Into the night. Into the night. The humanist. Yeah. Putting humans first. Putting humans first.
So as you know me, you can see there was, I think, 27 different iterations that go back to ideating and remixing, including at first, what started me on this journey is really interesting. It was a YouTube video that popped up just automatically, and it was an Ubuntu choir, and it was the most gorgeous, beautiful, deep thing. And I've talked about I because of we, the Ubuntu gift, yes? And I immediately just said, give me Ubuntu voices singing. And I copied what was in the metadata of that thing. And it said, ancestral breath is sacred chord, peace inspired by African tradition, shared presence in the quiet strength. So I literally took that as my code, and take a listen to this.
Ubuntu voices exploring harmony, rhythm and breath as one, voices rooted in memory, sound shaped by stillness.
And the words,
Ubuntu voices exploring harmony, rhythm and breath.
So the words were definitely just this. This was it. That's all it was. I just took that part from this, and that's what it created. So then I started iterating and thinking, wow, there's something there. And I remembered that journey that oh geez, why am I having a break right now? Not Philip Glass. Peter Gabriel went to Africa to basically record with the beautiful music over there. And then I started trying a couple of other things. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if the Dangerous Man went to Africa? Because the source of the Dangerous Man's zeitgeist and meaning of being is I because of we. And we would pay homage by singing together the way he did back in the day. And Peter Gabriel got a lot of heat about this world music as being extractive. But what ended up happening is that choir went around the world and made more money and got more attention and more exposure than they ever would have before. And that it's what it is, to add value to the world. So it wasn't extractive at all. It was additive. So the partnering of the Dangerous Man with his principles, with the core idea. So I started thinking about, what is a dangerous man? It's the person, it's the hero that I am becoming, but it's sort of like Spider-Man and Batman, and I'm Clark Kent and I'm Wayne, right? Bruce Wayne. And I need a place where I can go where my people, my children and my protector people are safe as I go do dangerous things. So I put on the hat and I go to battle for everyone else that doesn't have the voice. I am so moved by the Ubuntu spirit and the idea and the Iroquois Nation. I want to partner with them to amplify their voice, because we means the whole planet. It means the core of goodness in every which one of us that becomes the reason you live. And then so I started writing music.
Born of stardust, ancient light. 7 generations in our sight. I am because we are, you see. The strength of us, the strength of me. Ubuntu. Hear our voices rise, one spirit under open skies. Ubuntu. We are stronger, we are strong and true. Together, me and you. One, me and you. One. Mending cracks with threads of gold. Stories of the brave and bold, flowing like water ever free. The river runs to the sea. Ubuntu. Hear our voices rise, one spirit under open skies. Ubuntu. We are strong and true. Together, me and you.
So what happened here is I heard the Irish music in her voice. I wrote the words that came from Japanese kintsugi idea, the cup, that you fill every day with clean water. And when you do wrong to someone else, you must restitute. You must pay homage to the person you did wrong and make better with gold filling their lives better than you broke them. Only then can you truly drink from the still peaceful waters. You could be at peace with yourselves as you drink again. And when others break your vessel and you cannot drink, you must mend them, because you are not born or defined by someone else's wrong, but what you do when you get up and rise and you fill it with gold. You live through the traumas and the tragedies so you can take them as a verb of art itself, and to share them with the world as a touch point, as a light, as a star in the darkness of the night, to be who you are meant to be, a person who makes the world better by their presence. Thank you, Kyle Shannon, for being one of those people. And I aspire to be myself in 10 years as I every day wake up, born and reborn and renaissance of purpose, with one purpose only: to make my world first peaceful, to find peace by correcting the mistakes that others have made, to joining with I because of we, in a force that's unstoppable. The dangerous people are ones that are so dangerous because there's nothing that can stop love. At a time of hate, a time of fear, there is nothing but your imagination and those people who you have made community, that if you had made your family because you responsibly sought them out, you sought Brandon for the gravity that he is, as a person who's righteously raising his kids with those exact same principles in the orbit that you raised your own. And then if you reach out, you don't take from the Ubuntu's beautiful voices without adding the voice of the Japanese, without adding the Kintsugi idea, and without adding more value. And when you add it, you keep adding more light to the darkness, and nothing can stop love if you're on that course. So the next thing I did is I started thinking, well, what do I have to add as a dangerous man? And that's when I came up with a couple of ideas. And this is where I ended up last night. This is the dangerous man with a call and response by the Ubuntu choir.
Of start, forged in purpose and pain. 66 years walking through the sunshine and the rain.
We walk as one,
rooted in memory. I am not an island, I'm a force for the good.
7 generations,
bending every crack with gold, just like I should.
liquid gold in the vessel. I because of me.
I am because we are.
I because of me.
A chalice for the divine.
I because of we.
Be like water, flowing round the walls of the greed.
Flow like water.
Protection is my weapon, service is my creed.
Good trouble,
necessary trouble. My scars are maps of wisdom. My heart is a flame, no one the same. We are the crazy ones, changing the world's name.
we are one. Not because of me.
I am because we are.
I because of me.
Rising like the phoenix.
I because of me.
Rising like the phoenix.
I because of me. I because of me.
Love is the weapon.
Ubuntu.
Love is the plan.
Ubuntu.
We are dangerous with love.
Ubuntu.
We are just getting started.
Damn. So that's how I got to the song. And you may notice there's a few things in here, like the lead, the harmony, call and response, Ubuntu, and even the little parts in there. This is something you do in Suno, so let's make it a Mission Tools, right? I want to help you do the same thing. So I sat here and I opened up right next We can now check on the chat real quickly. But I opened up Gemini on the side and I wrote everything here by copying and pasting first into Notebook LM and creating a summary of all the principles that I have. You may notice in these words, there's a mention of good trouble, John Lewis's idea, necessary trouble. You may see Rosa stood up, sat down so we could walk, right? That's Rosa Parks. So that's a call back. When we go and so each one of these words is adding the value from these different places. Protection is a weapon. Service is my creed. Being of service to other. All of this comes from everything that I've experienced, all the power that I can find. And then the African beating drums and the sort of the instruments that could be made with your voice that cannot be replicated by an instrument even. We all imagine as artists to be music because it's universal. It's an international, worldwide language that I think actually the AI understands probably better, and it moves us. It is who we are. It meets us where we live as meaning makers. If you're looking for your next, it's becoming a meaning maker, adding value to the world. If you grew up in a cult like a friend of mine did, she became a rape therapist, and she became a counselor for those getting out of cults. She went back and got her degree so she could stop the wrong that happened to her. My uncle went into Alzheimer's research, worked for the NIH because his mother died of Alzheimer's, as did mine. 7 years of not knowing who I was. I had to take grief, and I do in my music. I take grief. I take every last goodbye, and there's been so many to count. And I want to just do one thing. As the Jewish people say their names after they have passed, it is to keep the star alive. So as long as your name survives, your memory does too. And my suggestion is the ideas that you brought to me, to my father and mother, I stand on your shoulders. To the Mbutu, whose ancestors go back tens of thousands of years. To the Iroquois Nation people, I say I stand with you on the same shoulders, and I want to meet you. I want you to sing this with me so we can become we. I am just one me, but I am a force of nature to be reckoned with. And I know that what I can do is spread the voice and the hope and be like that little girl that went to sleep worrying about her performance the next day, and with her imagination said, Dad said all I had to do was work hard, which I'm already doing. And he said as a joke, can you make sure your cat doesn't sing with you when you practice? Because he can't sing very well. And of course, the cat has in his head a little thought bubble, what's wrong with my singing? And then she goes out in a field where there was darkness, and she opens her mouth and light comes out. And now she has owned the moment. And she has created the star in her own space. When I say namaste at the end of each show, I mean I'm bowing to the temple inside of you, to that light, that little light that may be dimming right now. Because you just heard Kyle talk about what's about to happen. You heard us talk about what's about to happen. And what you do is you stoke the fires with all the memories of every person who came before you. And you use this glorious tool, AI, that has all those thoughts and ideas ever expressed. It has all the bad ones too. So you just guide it with a careful hand. It may extend your reach, but the grasp is yours to make. I love you all. I love the world, and I am born of service to it all. Anything I can do to help you become a we, and become we to be a light in the darkness for those others. That's what we're here for. So I'll kind of pause here for a second as we say our goodnights and let Brandon go do his other day job. I'm going to go back and visit in just a minute. Brandon, is there anything you want to say, or do you have a minute to?
Yeah, no, I want to add that you always like ending on a high note, and you shared this on LinkedIn a little while ago, and we have to end here. That commercial, the commercial, the energy commercial. We have to share that. If you have it on your LinkedIn, if you can share that, that's a perfect way to end.
Okay. I'll take a look for it real quickly here.
Yeah. So this is an AI generated commercial for a fake company, but the theory is that as AI replaces humans aren't going to have anything to do.
Right.
So.
Right. Can you bring it up on yours? I for some reason can't.
I've got it. We're gonna try. I don't know if I've got Kyle in my other ear, so I don't know if Kyle's gonna bleed through when I do this.
Okay, no worries.
So let's see.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so I'm here now.
Let me try.
It was in a chat with you, right? Okay, I think I have it. No, it was
share tab audio. Let's see.
Did I share?
Do you hear Kyle?
No, but I think I've got it now. I'm at your page right now. Was it the Napster next? No, not Napster.
Yeah, no, I got it right here.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
By 2030, almost 80% of people had lost their jobs.
They had no money, no purpose, but they had a lot of time on their hands.
The less people actually did physical work, the more they wanted to appear as if they did.
What if we could use the energy of humans to power the machines that took away their jobs?
Energen solved our need for energy and your need for purpose.
Oh my God, the great repurposing is a workout video. Who knew, Elon? Oh shit. Yeah, that says it right there. I think that's a great place to end. That's beautiful, man. And namaste to you, producer Brandon. Thank you so much.
Namaste. We'll do it all again next week. Hopefully, I'm rooting for less than 30 stories for next week for news. It's
I
insane.
wouldn't count on it. But the one thing I do want to leave you with is, have fun. Gather those around you like you did in the pandemic. Hunker down and learn how to make a new type of bread. Start from that yeast that your grandma gave you and learn how to read a book again. I think when you go back to the ancients, the wisdom I'm talking about is the Ubuntu and the Iroquois Nation and every other grounded peoples of the earth. Go stand in a forest with your feet on the ground and feel the mycelium under your feet and communicate with the cosmos and watch the stars in an open sky in the middle of nowhere. And just feel your power as a person. And then take that love and share it with as many people as you can gather around here that you know. Namaste to you all. Love you all. And may you always be the light. And remember the light in which you were lit. God inside you. Do not fear. Grow with confidence. Looking for peace and love always. Good night.
Good night.
Here bringing high tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation. AITV Starship. Learn, laugh, innovation. AITV Star, human amplified. Catch the spark, ride the wave. Future's on our side. We got experts talking truth in the stream. Dreaming